It's the first electric vehicle in the Genesis lineup. However, this shares its underpinnings with the Kia EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Both of those cars I have not tested, unfortunately, but we can make our general assumptions that being a Genesis product, being the luxury product amongst the trio, this is going to be a little bit quieter, obviously perform a little bit better because this is the $68,000 performance variant. It's got the adaptive variable suspension, things like that. So, you can expect it to be quieter, a little bit more comfortable compared to the EV6 and the Ioniq 5. Again, haven't tested those vehicles, it's just the general assumption. But let's start out with the exterior. It's about 177 inches long total, and it's got a 114-inch wheelbase, which I'll touch on more in the interior segment. I prefer this design to the EV6 and the Ioniq 5, but again, this is that luxury variant, okay? Whether you get the advanced version, which is the base version in America, or this performance variant, the wheel options, both of them look amazing. So the advanced gets a 20-inch wheel setup, and the wheel design is just nuts. I love it. This gets a set of 21-inch wheels. Again, crazy intricate designs. This vehicle is wrapped in 255 wide tires in all four corners. These are the Michelin Primacy kind of touring tire. It's not an aggressive performance tire in the least bit. It's just a regular all-season tire made for touring. With all of that established, let's go ahead and let's talk about this drive and some of the specs, because that's what makes this car exciting, right? So let's switch it into the sport mode, press that boost button and floor it. Shit. My gosh, man. And that's why this costs around $9,000 to $10,000 more than the regular Advanced. That speed, the thrust, that's what makes this exciting. And that boost button, it's not a gimmick. So this performance variant produces 429 horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque. When you press that boost button, I believe the horsepower jumps up to 483 horsepower. So speed is amazing, nothing really to complain about there. Let's talk about this handling next. So the handling is kind of a pro and a con with this car that I've noticed. Everyday driving, the handling is amazing, actually, and that's due to the fact that this is an EV, so all the battery pack weight is down low. This car weighs around 4,890 pounds. There is a rear-wheel drive base version, but it's not available in the United States yet. So what we get with the Advance is also an all-wheel drive trim level, and that weighs around 4,700 pounds, 4,760, something like that. But the benefits of being an EV, having that weight down low, that center of gravity being so low, is when you take your everyday left-hand turns, right-hand turns, there's pretty much no body roll. So it feels amazing when you drive it every day like that. And then you combine that with the effortless power, you feel like the king of the road. You are the king of the road when you're in a performance EV, or you're just zipping by people effortlessly. There's no transmission here. It gets up and goes. However, don't let the performance nameplate fool you. When you drive this really hard and your foot to the floor in every corner, that's when you notice the numbness, the lack of communication with this car. It's not super rewarding to drive it like an animal, and I'll give you an example as to why. So I mentioned the tires here. They're just regular touring tires and 255 wide, which is shocking to me because Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, every instance and every opportunity they get, they always shove into their vehicles those Michelin Pilot 4S summer tires. They always do that. I remember they did that with the 2019 Veloster R-Spec. That car had the 4S tires on it. Total overkill, but the car that actually needs it, this is the most powerful car that Genesis, Hyundai, Kia has ever created. And this car just has regular touring tires on it, which makes it very quiet. This is a quiet car, hardly any wind noise driving it at 50 miles an hour. The wind noise starts to creep up in the 70 to 80 mile per hour drives, which is totally normal. It's still quieter than the Tesla Model Y, but I just want to let you know you will get wind noise at the highway speeds, which again, I forgive it because EVs tend to be a little bit more prone to wind noise, a lot of glass, things like that. Anyway, tire noise is pretty much non-existent here, so that's a great thing about having these touring tires. However, this car deserves at least the Michelin Pilot 4, the all-season variant, right? So the most aggressive sportiest all-season compound, this car should have at least used that. What ends up happening is when you take corners really hard, it starts to squeal the tires like crazy. You just look like an idiot. The brakes are really touchy. However, they don't necessarily stop you super quickly. It just feels extremely grabby. Okay, for everyday driving, I don't mind the braking performance. I think it's right where it needs to be. It's okay. I just want to let you know, if you're thinking that this is some crazy hot hatchback, it is in terms of its straight line speed. However, cornering wise, this is best driven at like 5/10 to maybe 6/10, and if they upgraded the tires and everything, maybe you can push it to that extra 7/10. Outside of that, I don't really have any complaints driving this car. It's been so seamless and satisfactory driving this every day, and having the performance variant means that you're not going to be tired of this car right away. Other things to note, so we have here a 77 kilowatt battery pack, and you can charge it from 20% to 80% in around 18 minutes on a super fast level 3 charger. And that is true. I've charged this multiple times at the the Electrify America. The level 1 charging kit, absolutely worthless. You know, the thing that they give you with the car that you just plug into a regular home outlet, complete trash, completely not worth it. The charge point chargers that I've experienced in my area, they're like level 2 chargers, so it'll take around 8 hours for you to get a full charge, which is fine for household charging, but you really need that level 3 charger for when you're out and about, right? When you're actually traveling with this car. So that's kind of the biggest advantage that Tesla has. They have those supercharging networks everywhere. And when I was trying to charge this at Electrify America, one of the blasted chargers, it wouldn't work. So I had to wait for another person to finish charging their EV for me to go park there and use that charger. So if you live in like an apartment, this can be a huge con for you. It's not that practical. You kind of need to be a homeowner and have that level 2 charger installed in your home. And I just wanted to make this quick note. Genesis, along with many other auto manufacturers that are currently producing EVs, they have partnered up with Electrify America to give you 3 years of free charging. And there's about 3,500 chargers available all throughout the United States currently. Electrify America stations, that is. If you're a car guy, are you going to like this? Yes, you will. As a daily driver, this is going to be the ultimate daily, okay? Those twin turbo turds, it's completely dead, man. I've always said this. I'm not against EV cars. I actually prefer EVs to these stupid 4-cylinders. Even twin turbocharged V6s, they're all turds. They're all a waste of time. All those engines, they have no soul, no characteristic. They're not exciting to drive. Really, naturally aspirated V8s and V12s. Now, obviously, you had to be extremely blessed to daily drive an NA V12. You know, V8s are readily available. You know, most car guys, they want an exhaust on a V8 powered car. That's what's exciting. Even twin turbocharged V8s, not that great, because the only twin turbocharged V8 I like is the Mercedes AMG variants, which again, very expensive, but still, that's the most character-filled twin turbo engine I've ever experienced. Usually turbos just sap out all excitement. They make your car sound like a vacuum cleaner. There's just no excitement. Like a RS7 Audi that I tested, it wasn't exciting at all, right? It was quick, but you felt nothing driving it. This, I was scared that this would also feel like nothing, but you know what? This has a little bit of character. It feels very natural. The steering weight is perfect. The ride quality is sublime. Forgot to talk about that. That's one of the best attributes about this GV60 is the ride quality. Even with these crazy 21-inch wheels, this thing absorbs large bumps like a 6-figure flagship luxury car. I kid you not. You do not feel the large bumps at all. Now, when you're driving over like a secondary highway with a road that looks kind of clean, but it's not, you know what I mean? You feel some vibration coming through the steering wheel, but other than that, nothing. I mean, it's super smooth all the time, and aside from some of the wind noise you get at 70, 80 plus miles an hour, it's fine. And it's kind of a heavy vehicle. The stability is amazing. The center of gravity is low. It inspires confidence. None of that is an issue. And I'll give you some other characteristics and traits that makes this satisfying to daily drive. Okay, so you know how some luxury cars, you can be doing 15, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit and you don't feel it? Well, this car isn't quite like that. When you're doing 30, it feels like you're going 30. When you're doing 50, it feels like you're going 50. When you're doing 70, it feels like 70 miles an hour. Okay, and I actually think that's a good thing. Another thing, is this car is satisfactory doing all types of speeds. You don't have to be driving it like an idiot to be having fun. You can do the speed limit in this and be extremely satisfied, okay? Doing 35, 45 miles an hour feels great. It's a great daily driver. If you're gonna get an Ioniq 5 or an EV6 fully loaded, I would rather get the advanced base trim level of the GV60 than I would those two vehicles, okay, fully loaded. Because this is the Genesis product, you're going to be able to take this to a Hyundai Genesis dealership, so you'll probably get a little bit better customer service than you would at a Kia dealership. Now, there's some good Kia dealerships popping up here and there. However, for the most part, just feel like Genesis, being that luxury branded vehicle, you'll get that better concierge service. Also, fully loaded, the Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6, the GT, they only do about 320 horsepower and like 440 something pound-feet of torque, which is what the base version of this GV60 has to offer. Once again, I thought the EV6 GT had the same performance and the battery pack as this GV60 performance, but it doesn't. That's the extra 9 to 10 grand that you pay for, is way more performance out of this car. Compared to a Tesla Model Y long range that I tested in 2021, this is faster than the Model Y. It's also more refined, and I just prefer driving this. It's a little bit more of a cleaner driving experience, and I think the interior quality is also higher than the Model Y. And turning circle is pretty excellent in this car. That's good. I'm glad I was able to confirm that for you. So with all that established, let's go ahead and let's talk about this interior space now. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I do have some cons with the interior space. First of all, these door handles, not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. It's nice and sleek when you have them closed, right? Anyway, let's climb inside. I'll show you the doors here first. Very intricate design. I do like it a lot. It's the blue interior with this kind of green stitching. I don't know if you can tell. You have some metal-like finishes on the door switches. Everything feels like quality. Everything feels good. The door weight, everything is fantastic. This is your mirror controls, which is interesting. Never seen that before. And these are your two memory seat controls here. Only two. Wish I had three. This material is kind of cheap and plasticky, but whatever. This is a soft touch material down here, but inside is a hard touch, and there's obviously no space in there. But I do like this suede-like material here as well. Taking a look at these seats, once again, it's that blue interior with multiple types of finishes, like this suede, the leather with the green piping and stitching. It's all very cool. You have kind of a texture here as well. I don't know if you can see that. And multiple adjustments here for your seats. A pseudo massage function. I think it has 7 air bladders, and it'll help you with your fatigue on a long journey. Like right here, you have a face recognition camera here, so you can register your face, so you can kind of get in and out of the vehicle that way. And also you have a fingerprint reader here. Press that and get in the vehicle that way. The vehicle will be authenticated and nobody can steal your car. Yeah, a lot of people like that crystal shifter. It's kind of a pro and a con because I am a sucker for that, but here's the problem, right? What if that just suddenly stops working? Now you look like an idiot. Now you can't access your gear shifter knob, right? This is a digital gear shifter knob put in reverse. You have your 360 camera, your regular camera with the lines that move with the steering input. So that is cool. That's good. I do like to see 360 cameras in a vehicle. It is very convenient to have, but you know, it's a small car, easy to park and everything. But yeah, this is the cabin of the GV60, and the material choices in here are all fantastic. I do like the leather quality in this. Again, this is all a sustainable cabin. I just want to let you know that. So all of this is sourced from sustainable materials, the leather, the everything here, but it feels good. It feels tight and put together properly. It's got around 3,764 miles currently, and yeah, there's nothing creaking and rattling in here. It's all solid. It's all good to go. Like I already mentioned, I like the color schemes here, and I also like the lighter colored interiors as well. It's a great match. Like they have this cool kind of copper color mixed with a white interior. I think that's also a fantastic combination. So I can see why so many people are a fan of Genesis right now, because they are doing some genuinely cool stuff. Same thing with Hyundai. They released some, you know, retro sports car concept EV things. So they're doing some cool stuff, and this is definitely a product of that. Now, one thing to note here, you know, again, some hard touch plastics being used, but it's not a big deal. You do have this large floating center console, which, you know, might start creaking and rattling. You do have a lot of space down there for a large bag or a purse or something like that. Same thing in here. A lot of space, along with the USB-C connectivity, chargers, all that stuff with your 12 volt. However, I will say, because this has a rather interesting design in the rear, your rear visibility is slightly limited back there. So when you look out the rear view mirror, it's definitely a little bit constricted back there, but the side view mirrors do a decent job. You know, even though this is kind of a smaller mirror, it does a good job, and your frontward visibility is decent. However, I will say the overall seating position I'm not a huge fan of, because this headrest, it's kind of protruded outward a little bit. My head is not super comfortable sitting in this car, but the rest of the seat is totally fine, very comfortable. You can do a long trip in this and not feel fatigued, so that's good. But the headrest design, a little bit strange to me. I can only adjust this upwards. I can't, this is the maximum that it'll go down. Let's talk about the steering wheel. So again, it's the perfect size. I appreciate that. These are not paddle shifters. I know it looks like it is, but these two paddles, they control the regenerative braking. So if you keep pressing up on the paddle shifter, as you can see, level 3, and then you press it 4 times, then the I pedal will be on. So what is the I pedal? That is the true one pedal drive. You just take your foot off the throttle and it'll come to a stop completely for you. I don't mind any of these modes. They're all cool. You can completely turn off the regenerative braking if you want to. And since we're here, let's talk about the gauge cluster and the infotainment as well. So it's all kind of one screen here, one connected screen. It is cool. It is elegant. It's like a 12.3 inch screen for both. These two buttons here, the boost mode, the drive mode, these are actual buttons. They're not like something that you twist or anything. Once you put the vehicle into sport mode, that is pretty cool. That animation, and also the way they have the needle. That's a really cool design, like that, what is it called? That Star Wars saber thing. That's kind of what it looks like. Very cool, very cool. I'll put it into the eco mode for you. It will change even further. It doesn't have that animation for the green needles. It's kind of disappointing. Anyway, comfort mode is good, but the sport mode is rather exciting in this car. I'll leave it in the sport mode for right now because it looks cool. I don't like this electric D-pad thing. It's kind of stupid because this is your volume control. This is all physical. However, when I want to swipe my music left or right, it's kind of annoying, doesn't always register. So that's very stupid. No idea why they went with that, but that's really one of the few gripes that I have. This is a touchscreen, this 12.3 inch infotainment display. But you can also use this knob right here. Instead of making this the crystal twisting thing, they should have just made this into the crystal shifter. You know what I mean? Because this is your gear lever knob. Not everybody's going to use this, because I feel like most people prefer the touchscreen, and nobody's going to use this dial pad to go through the infotainment. But I like that they give you options here, right? So that's cool. Same thing with the climate control. I really like the way they have separated this from the infotainment. However, it's kind of a touch haptic thing, right? It's quite far from where you sit. Like, you have to really reach down there to press these buttons. I'm not a huge fan of the ergonomics, in a sense, of how some of this stuff works, but it is clean, it is elegant, it does work, and you do have these physical buttons down here and here as well, your volume controls, tuning knobs, all that good stuff. You have some more physical buttons here as well for your heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, your parking sensors, your parking camera, if you want to look at that. 2 cup holders right here. Again, the ones here are pretty worthless on the door pocket. This, I don't know, what the hell is this? I have no idea. They made this into an actual drawer. I've never seen that before, but hey, it does work. It's cool. The wireless charging pad, that is standard. So let me talk about the advanced trim level. Here's the thing. You pretty much get all the features of the performance model minus the 20-inch wheels. In the advanced trim level, you get the 17-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that. It's good. It's not great. These Bang & Olufsen sound system, this 17-speaker unit, it sounds like the Harman Kardon units that they used to have. I believe Bang & Olufsen is just another version of Harman Kardon. I feel like they just own all of this. It's that big conglomerate, right, that owns a lot of these speaker names. So that's what they've gone with. I'm sure in the G90 sedan, I'm sure the Bang & Olufsen will sound amazing there. However, in this car, it just sounds adequate, I suppose. But you will get the sound system even in the advanced trim level. So you pretty much get all the features in the advanced trim. And that includes this wireless charging pad. So I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max. And when I have my phone in a phone case, this will not work. All right, and apparently this is an issue with a lot of the Genesis wireless charging pads. The iPhone 12s and the 13s, they apparently just will not work when you have it in a case. So when I take it out of my case, then the wireless charging pad will work. The center glove box space isn't super massive, but you do have some space there as well. Headroom is pretty excellent. You can be well over 6 feet tall. That's not a problem. The sunroof is fixed. However, you can open it up, close it. This material that they use, very soft, very supple. I feel like this will also help to reduce noise in the cabin space. This kind of microfiber design, very elegant, very high quality. Again, these are the things that you're going to be getting with the Genesis product. I doubt the Ioniq 5 or the EV6 will come with that. And again, you don't have to get the performance model to get all these features. Even the advanced trim level, the regular base model will come with all-wheel drive and a lot of the features that you see here. But one of the stupid things I've noticed is you don't get wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto with this screen. You actually have to plug the vehicle or your phone into this vehicle to get the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto to work. No idea why that is, but the screen is pretty good. It does react extremely fast. There is like a phone mirror mode, but it's not that great. But Bluetooth is very easy to set up, very quick, and the screen looks very elegant as well. With that established, let's go ahead and let's jump into the rear seats now. So as you can see, the space isn't terrible. The wheelbase, as I already mentioned during the drive, it's around 114 inches. However, the legroom is just adequate. It's nothing amazing. So one of the things that's an issue is the seat, the way it's mounted. There's no place for you to stow your feet under the front seats here. Whenever car manufacturers do that, whenever they lift up the seat, it gives you an extra like 2 inches of legroom, right? Which can definitely help out the taller passengers. But I can certainly sit back here. It's definitely practical. You can definitely fit adults back here up to like 6 feet tall. That's not an issue. You do have your own vents here to play with, and your own USB-C with some storage down here as well. This door panel looks absolutely amazing. Still got the Bang & Olufsen sound system here. Nice metal-like buttons. It's plastic, but it feels like metal because of the way they have it finished. And you have the heated seats back here with this button. And you can lock and unlock the doors. And you do have a manual sunshade as well, but it's very difficult to aim and... Okay, I got it that time. But yeah, this one is still not hooking, so... At least you have it, though. It's great if you have children back here, like a baby or something. So very nice. I like to see that. Again, $70,000 vehicle, damn near. So you kind of expect some of this stuff. And you have a lever here. That's actually how you put the seat down. But also that's also how you recline back here. Again, the seat quality does continue, does look amazing. You put this down. You have your cup holders right here. You can move this seat out of the way if you want. And I really like the way they've done this cup holder situation. That's rather interesting. Never seen that before. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's jump into the trunk space now. All right, that works. So here's your trunk. You have this kind of tonneau cover thing, so you can kind of hide your belongings, if you will. But that can definitely get in the way for loading up larger items. But the trunk, not that massive. Again, the hard touch plastics continue, but who cares? It's a trunk. And you get your little 12 volt right there. And here is where you keep all of your books and everything. This right here, that's your regular household charging outlet, totally useless. Storage is definitely a little bit limited. Fold down this seat by pressing this lever right here. So it does fold down nearly flat. Certainly makes this car much more practical this way. But again, this is one of the cons. This is a tiny little car, not a whole lot of trunk space. Like, it can barely survive a Costco run when you get 2 waters, toilet paper, some food. It can barely fit that in here. You might even have to fold down the seat for that. So just keep that in mind. It's not super spacious, and that's one of the cons with this car. So conclusions on the 2023 Genesis GV60. If you love EVs and you like the way this looks, you like everything I had to say with this car, the pros and cons, if all that makes sense to you, and you can get an allocation for it, you can order it. Even if you live in a state where this isn't being launched in, like the California, New Jersey, and the other 2 states, if you live outside of those places, but you can still get an allocation for it, and you have the money, do it. Definitely get this car. You will not be disappointed in it. You will love driving it. You will love the comfort of it. You will like the technology and the comfort and everything, the refinement. It's all going to be amazing, and you're going to be blown away by just how fast this car is. I didn't talk about the 0 to 60, but 0 to 60 is around 4 seconds flat in this car, and it does feel it. It does feel very quick, especially when you play with that boost button, that extra 10 seconds of thrust that it has to deliver. It is quite remarkable, but it's just satisfying just daily driving it. You're the king of the road when you drive this car. You're just zipping by people effortlessly. They're just looking at your rear end every single time. Like, it doesn't matter how people are driving. Also, driving slowly, also very satisfying, just in bumper to bumper traffic, no problem. It's a small itty bitty car, so it's easy to place out on the road, easy to park, easy to see out of, except for the rear. But outside of that, just driving position is great. I already mentioned to you the pros and the cons. I mean, most of the cons I have with this car is the fact that it's small, is the fact that it costs damn near 70 grand, and some of the questionable ergonomics, like the headrest being too far in. If you can appreciate that, then yeah, this is one of the few modern cars where I don't have too much to complain about. The stuff that I mentioned to you, I think you can live with it. Yeah, this is a pretty remarkable first attempt, but you know what? I shouldn't be surprised that this is a great car, because every manufacturer is moving towards EVs. It's the regular gasoline powered cars where they're just kind of cutting corners and they don't really care. These cars, they care. They want to make a good first impression, and they have. Again, this is superior to their twin turbo 6 and their 4 cylinders. This is superior. This is the best powertrain in the Genesis lineup right now. It shouldn't be surprising to me that they didn't screw this up, and also at 70 grand or nearly 70 grand, they better not screw up. So that's why there's no shortcuts here. It's priced really high. It's made for someone that really appreciates this stuff. Yes, you can get the lower end, or the advanced version, which isn't bad. It's still got some decent power and thrust, so you can save some money there if you need to. And also, this car does qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. I wish there was a world where both this and my V8s can coexist, right? But that's probably not going to happen. That's my concluding thoughts. Hopefully you found value with this review. Thanks again for watching, and check out the end screen here for the next video.